Our quote is, "Pip, dear old chap, life is made of ever so many partings welded together. As I may say, and one man's a blacksmith, and one's a goldsmith, and one's a coppersmith. Divisions among such must come, and must be met as they come." The armor here represents divisions among class. How we have the leather armor, which is the lowest level of armor, chain armor, which is a little higher, iron, then gold, and diamond. And it shows like the different classes in the book as a theme, and how it goes left to right. It's ascending through class throughout the book. So this is Pip's house when he was growing up. It's an ordinary landscape. It's the lowest class level house we have, and we have a bunch of junk around here to show how it's like of a lower class. We have signs to post what exactly everything is for semiotics. Over here is the blacksmith area. And then inside, it's very small, not a lot of room to work with. And then up here we have Pip's room. He has some very poor clothes, like he's made fun of for having. There's cobwebs and stuff all around. And then in here we have written what him and Joe are writing, or what Joe writes to him in one chapter. And this kind of just shows also the like lower class of not being able to properly write.
As we move from building to building, we follow this general path. In this area in the middle here is a node that connects the three parts of our park with the entrance. Going through the node, you go to the Satis house, which is an example of a derelict landscape because it's not very well taken care of and it's kind of overgrown and the windows are boarded up. If you go to the right in the brewery here, we see the scene where Pip imagines he sees Miss Havisham hanging from the ceiling, which we have right here. We have more semiotics in front of this house, labeling it as the Satis house. When you go inside, there's stopped clocks all around the house. When they stopped when Miss Havisham was, her fiance didn't show up to her wedding. When we go upstairs, we have the central area here, and you go inside. This is the room with the giant wedding cake and the stopped clocks. This room there's cobwebs everywhere and it's not very well taken care of. This cake is all rotting and old. We have the fireplace that Miss Havisham sits in front of. At one point in the book, she ends up falling into it and catching on fire. And over here we have Miss Havisham in her wedding dress looking in the mirror that she always looks in. This room is an example of territoriality because Miss Havisham is attached to it and she never really leaves it that often. And it also is an example of proxemics because Miss Havisham has great meaning attached to this room. And it's also an example of topophilia because she has strong emotional attachment to this room. And this is the room where her heart was broken. Going around the park here, you can see many landscapes, and there's many landmarks as well with the gate and the fountain.
Here we have Pip's apartment building while he's in London. Another example of semiotics with the sign saying Barnard's Inn, which is what the building is called. Up here we have Pip's room. And here's his bedroom. The amount of bookshelves he has in here also shows like the contrast between the house he grew up in, how there was like maybe one or two, but he has a lot more resources available to him now than he did when he was in a lower class. Now I'm going to give a flyover of the whole building and the area. We put walls to separate each building. They serve as edges for each landmark, and they also go along with the quote on how there are divisions between each kind of people, but we kept it like together because it says they're welded together as well.
And it's also meant to look like it's made out of scraps of metal, kind of been like welded together, kind of like all the experiences in someone's life on their own may be worthless, but when you put them all together, it makes a person who they are. And then also when you look at it, we have three kind of distinct districts. We have the Pip's home, childhood home, and the saddest house, and the apartment building is each like its own separate district. You can also up here see a better view of all the paths and the nodes that connect everything together.
This is our English presentation, and we hope you enjoyed.